So, good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here tonight. I know there are so many things that you all can be doing. I know people have school, work. So I just want to be a good steward of your time and take the time to appreciate you all for joining us tonight. My name is Jasmine Perkins. I am the Director of Programs for BPDA. I will be the main contact person for this fellowship, which is the Community Engagement Fellowship, specific to undergrad and graduate students with an interest in public defense. A brief history of BPDA in our Community Engagement Fellowship. We have always had a law school fellowship, but at BPDA, we believe that it takes a village. And so we believe in the holistic approach, and that includes attorneys, client advocates, investigators, social workers, and we wanted to provide an opportunity for those people to also engage in public defense and have a fellowship that's catered specifically to them. Um, so without further ado, I would like to introduce our speakers. Speakers, if you wouldn't mind, we're going to do a popcorn. I will call out someone's name, and I would like for you all to introduce yourselves, what office you were with, and your title before we get started with the panel question. So, Jermel, you're already off off mute. Would you mind introducing yourself?
Hi, everyone. I'm Janelle Thomas, one of the supervising attorneys here at the Contra Costa County Public Defender's Office. I oversee our law clerk recruitment efforts and then also supervise our probation parole calendar, as well as our clean slate, and is part of our DEI, Racial Justice and Diversity Committee. Was there anything else, Jasmine? I'm sorry I'm running late. I'm coming back from court, so I'm a little, but I'm here.
No, that's
What else
good.
did you
That's
want?
good.
What else did you want me to say, Jasmine?
That's good. And then you can popcorn it
Okay.
to whoever you choose, and then you'll have an opportunity to speak further on your fellowship in just a moment.
Okay, perfect. I will popcorn it to Jennifer Lewis.
Thank you, Jamel. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jennifer Lewis. I am the Director of Talent Acquisition at the Legal Aid Society. Um, and I'll popcorn it over. I think that was it. Name, title, an organization, right? Okay. I'll popcorn it over to Kwan.
Hey, good evening, everyone. My name is Kawan Clinton. I'm the Deputy Attorney in charge of the Legal Aid Society's Manhattan Trial Office. It's nice to meet everyone this evening, and I'll popcorn it over to Lee.
Everyone, nice to be here. My name is Leah Winsberg. I'm the Community Engagement Attorney for the Cuyahoga County Public Defender's Office. Cleveland is our biggest city. So happy to be here. I will pass it over to Alyssa.
Hi guys, my name is Alyssa Yates. I am the social work manager at the Montgomery County Public Defender's Office. And Erin, you're up.
Thanks. My name's Erin Ryan. I'm the Director of HR for the State of Connecticut Division of Public Defender Services. And I'll pass it to Anya.
Hi, everyone. I'm Anya Mukherjee Connolly. I'm the Managing Director of Policy and Advocacy at the Brooklyn Defender Services in Brooklyn, New York. Amari?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Amari Harris. I am the General Counsel and Director of Equity and Operations for the Virginia Defenders, or our government title is the Virginia Indigent Defense Commission. That's our government name.
And George.
Hi, everybody. I'm George Jackson. I'm the Communications Director for the Defender Association of Philadelphia. And is there anybody else to popcorn it to?
I think that is it.
Is that it?
Did we get everybody? All right. Well, thank you all for the introductions, and we will go straight into the panel question. So, to our host sites, I would like to know, what is something unique about your fellowship experience that sets you all apart from other host sites? This question hopes to encourage fellows to apply to your host site. And we can start with the West Coast with Contra Costa.
Okay, thank you, Jasmine. So yeah, Contra Costa is an area in Northern California, the San Francisco Bay Area. We just hosted the NBA All-Star. And we have pockets of affluent areas, but then pockets of really, really impoverished communities. Richmond, California, Antioch, California are some of the areas. We see in our county disproportionately Black and Brown people that are arrested and prosecuted for cases. And as a result, our office is incredibly litigious. We take more cases to jury trial than any public defender office in the state. Our percentages are pretty high as far as acquittals. Our attorneys are really, really creative, intelligent, just brilliant, brilliant attorneys. And do fairly well. Was just over with an attorney getting a not guilty on 25 counts of felony charges. So we do really, really well, but we wouldn't be able to do well without the support of our law clerk program. And so law clerks that are interested in coming over are able to shadow attorneys in trial. We definitely depend on law clerk assistance for trial support, litigation support. Law clerks and students that are able to argue in court, we allow that to happen. And so if they get themselves certified with the California State Bar, we can help with that. We have a very holistic office. So we have interns helping with our clean slate unit, which helps people get their records cleared, early representation, which is contact with police agencies that we have worked out, where at the first instance of contact, they'll send over that citation. Will make contact with the client early on and make sure that they know about all of their court hearings. We have a very robust immigration unit, and we're seeing a lot of that. We're really busy with the chaos that's going on, and just the paranoia that's happening with our non-citizen clients. And so it's very holistic in what we do, but definitely heavy on the trial litigation. So interns that are interested in those experiences should reach out to me for a really wholesome summer internship.
Thank you, Jamel. So if you all are interested in immigration work, litigation, and the Clean Slate Act, please apply to the Contra Costa host site. All right, let's bring it down to the South and with Amari.
Oh yeah, the South. Thank you all once again for having me. It's always a pleasure to, connect with BPDA and continue to provide opportunities like this to both law students and undergraduate and grad students. So one of the things about our community engagement fellowship is we have two particular projects that we want folks to walk on or work on. So part of what happened a few years ago with some changes in our legislature is that we've got essentially, across the board, across the state, police accountability and data statistics where we're tracking the ethnicity, the race, and the sex of everyone who is being stopped and charged, which we weren't doing before, which is great news. It's a great piece of information. We haven't been able to effectively use it as much as we want to, and so we're hoping that an intern would be able to do that for us. We were recently, well, the state of Virginia was recently in the news for one of our federal public defenders, which is not us, the Virginia defenders, we're state, but the federal public defenders, they actually got a case suppressed using this data where they established that the Richmond police had a practice and policy of occupying Black spaces and targeting Black people. There was a disparate impact. We're looking for those disparate impact sort of cases where we can, clearly establish a pattern of targeting and racial bias. So, and being able to effectively use the information, of course. So that's one project. The other project is one in which we are tracking the way that people are selected for jury duty and why our jury panels do not reflect the communities and reflect, what our clients look like and what we can do about that. What sort of barriers are preventing people that are more a part of the community from being on these jury panels? So those are the two specific projects. And then we want to work with the interns to try to pick a project and then find a location. We got 28, 29 different public defender offices in Virginia. For those of you who know about Virginia, it's very different geographically, topographically, as well as politically, depending on where you are in Virginia. It could be a very different place wherever you are. So that's part of the analysis in terms of where people want to be placed. But outside of that, I mean, it's a really, great opportunity to see high level litigation, see jury trials. We have recently eliminated the jury trial penalty, which basically, if you took a jury trial, the jury would also have to sentence you, and they didn't have as much power as a judge to suspend time and or do alternatives. It's like they just have to give you hard time. And it was heartbreaking, not just for our clients, but for the juries. The juries wouldn't realize, oh, I have to give this guy 10 years. I have to give this person 5 years, and I really only want to give them a couple months. And so we've tried to mitigate that a little bit by putting the sentencing power back in the judge's hands. So we have a ton of juries. If you intern in our office, it's almost a guarantee you're going to see a jury trial over the summer. So yeah, that's really kind of what's unique, and I don't want to take up too much time. But if you guys have more questions, just reach out to me at aharris@vadefenders.org. Thanks.
Thanks, Amari. So, if you guys are interested in being on the other side of your civic duties with the jury duty, or if you want to investigate police investigations and data statistics, please reach out to Amari and apply to Virginia Defenders. All right, let's take it to the Midwest with Cuyahoga.
Everyone. So our fellowship is unique in the sense that my role is fairly new. So I started as the community engagement attorney for our office in September of last year. So the fellow will really be helping me kind of bridge and build out this position and really start kind of like ramping up what we're able to achieve with the community and help define some of the direction of this role as well. So for those who aren't super familiar with Cleveland, Ohio, which is the largest city in Cuyahoga County, we are the biggest pipeline into the criminal legal system statewide for Ohio. So while we're not the largest populated city, we certainly do overrepresent populations of both kids in foster care systems, state prison systems, and adults in the carceral systems. So our office uses a multidisciplinary approach. So we have our attorneys, social workers, parent advocates, investigators, mitigation specialists, paralegal students. And so we have a full and very robust team that works on all of our cases. We handle representation in juvenile court for parents who are facing removal of their children by Children's Services, as well as kids facing delinquency charges. We represent adults in misdemeanor and then felony cases, as well as on post-conviction. So our city has had some pretty troubling attention. We've made national news for all of the wrong reasons. We were part of the Serial podcast, unfortunately, which really revealed some really concerning processes and practices in our county. And the Marshall Project, thankfully, just launched its first local reporting outlet in our city. So we've had an opportunity to really kind of create more dialogue with community about our legal system here, which has been phenomenal. So it's a really exciting time to start embedding a little bit more and making more meaningful connections with the communities who are most impacted. So with that being said, some of the opportunities will be like thinking about how do we strengthen our partnerships with those folks who we already connect with, but how do we also expand and create more meaningful access to the impacted communities outside of the traditional spaces. We are also thinking about communication and being more visible and more connected with not only our partners, but the populations that could benefit from legal education and our services. And then being more proactive on the reforms piece, because there is some traction, particularly on the youth justice side. So the fellow will really be helping with some things like listening tours and thinking about how we can really create opportunities based on what we hear from our impacted communities and our partners to help define what this role can really do in the next year or two. How do we, continue to build trust with the communities that we serve, and then help educate not only the stakeholders, but our partners on how to best utilize our office and what it is that we do. So some of that might look like creating materials for partners and those who are impacted, thinking about helping to facilitate conversations with defender offices across the country that have roles that are similar to this. Thinking about, kind of doing community education in spaces that are kind of a gap. So perhaps going into different prison facilities and just making sure that we are being a good bridge to the communities that need us. So it's a kind of a more of an open opportunity to help kind of refine and define the direction of this role. And so I'll definitely be working very closely with the fellow and looking forward to any kind of feedback, input, and direction that they might have on how to further define their project in time with our office.
Thank you, Leah. So if you all are open to an opportunity to help mold Leah's position and bridge a gap with the community of Cleveland and other in the public defender's office and other stakeholders, then please reach out to Leah. All right, let's go a little bit further down the road to Montgomery County with Alyssa.
Hi, guys. I'm in Dayton, Ohio, with the Montgomery County Public Defender's Office. And as a social work manager, the fellowship that we're looking to develop would be to work with our homeless clients. So what I see with the most common referral I get in social work here in Dayton, Ohio is for housing. I would say 90% of my 300 open clients in my social work program needs housing. There is no housing. There's no affordable housing. Everything is kind of because of the economy. In Dayton, Ohio, we had a series of tornadoes, I believe in 2018, which ruined, I don't know, a bunch of properties in Dayton, Ohio. And then we had COVID. And ever since then, things have just really been spiraling. So because our office is so deeply committed to serving the most vulnerable members of the community, we're looking to develop a database with landlords, affordable housing, that sort of thing. Because, like I said, we get referrals that they're like, we need to find this person a house. Like they keep getting a trespass charge, they keep going into a bandos or whatever the case may be. So just like a database that we could have to send like for rent to see how much rent is, like the properties around the county, the areas, and then we would create also some kind of a presentation because also community partners here in Dayton, Ohio ask my office to come present on housing, which I don't know how that happened, but it did. And so I would love to come up with some kind of a training tool and to share that database with community partners.
Thank you, Alyssa. So if
Yeah.
you all are interested in being an integral part of remedying the unhoused community in Dayton, Ohio, please contact Alyssa. Alrighty, y'all, let's go down to the East Coast with George and Philly.
All right. Thanks, everybody. So again, I'm George Jackson. I'm with the Defender Association of Philadelphia. We are the largest criminal law firm in the state of Pennsylvania. We represent about 75% of everyone who is charged with a crime in the city of Philadelphia. And we are a nonprofit, although we are kind of a quasi city organization, but we are an independent nonprofit. And as such, we have a little bit of space to operate and program in a way that's a little more flexible than other city agencies. So we've got about 500 staff total, about 200 and I want to say 210 attorneys on staff, public defenders. But one of the things that makes us unique, like a lot of public defender offices, we also have social work staff. We have, caseworkers. We have admin staff and things of that nature. But we have a very unique program called the Junior Defender Program, which is run by our amazing outreach director, Guy Lang. And what that program is, and I will share the website with everybody in the chat. It is a program where we work with high school and junior high school age kids on how to avoid the school to prison pipeline. So we teach them everything from kind of basic know your rights vis-a-vis the criminal justice system, but also how to advocate, how to mobilize. In the past, the program has done things like come up with campaigns to combat anti-cell phone rules in schools, and is actually successfully in some schools where we have partnerships have actually managed to change policies and discipline policies in individual junior high, middle schools, and high schools in the city. The cool thing about the program, I think, is that not only are you working with these young people in this junior defender internship program over the summer, but because that program interfaces with many attorneys from our other units, our probation department, our police accountability unit, you get a real flavor for all of the different kinds of advocacy and legal practice things that we do here in Philadelphia. So if you have the vision and the good sense to come to Philadelphia and join our team, you're going to get exposed not only to the opportunity to work with young people and help teach them about the criminal justice system, but also to interface with many of the other things that we have going on in Philadelphia. And I'll put the Junior Defender website in the chat right now.
Thank you, George. If you guys are interested in the Junior Defender program, if you'd like to help mobilize, teach Know Your Rights, and advocate and change the community, the youth community in Philadelphia, please contact George or Guy Lang. Alrighty, thank you. Let's go to Anya and BDS.
Hi, everyone. Gosh, I'm learning so much about the work that's happening across the country, and I don't know that there's anything entirely unique about our work, except that we're in Brooklyn. I have my colleagues here from Legal Aid. I think, and so much that all of you are talking about interdisciplinary public defense, community outreach and engagement, are all aspects of our work. But I'll talk a little bit about what we do and what we hope to engage in a fellow in, and hopefully there'll be something unique there. Brooklyn Public Defenders is a public defense office that's been around for about 30 years. We have about 500 to 600, somewhere in between there, attorneys, social workers, parent advocates, advocates that work with our clients who are incarcerated. We have policy staff. We have gosh, I'm sure I'm forgetting, but I'll come back to it. And we represent people in criminal court in Brooklyn. If you've been charged with a crime in Brooklyn, if you've been accused of abuse or neglect, we have a family defense practice. And we also are one, along with my colleagues from Legal Aid, one of 3 offices in New York City, which make up the city's immigration defense practice, which is the first program in the country that was funded publicly by our city council to ensure that people who are placed in deportation proceedings in New York City have access to counsel. We also have a civil practice. So as everyone here knows that, when you have system involvement, especially with the criminal, family, and immigration systems, there can be collateral impact. And so, if you are charged with a crime that is may likely impact your employment, your housing. And so our civil practice is made up of attorneys and social workers and advocates who represent people in employment matters, in housing matters, and in education matters. And I'm the managing attorney of our policy practice, and that is it is our team that will host a fellow for the summer. We hosted someone 2 years ago, and I think it was an awesome experience. Hopefully, I hope it was also an awesome experience for the student. And so this year, our hope is that a student will work with our policy team on a number of issues. One issue that we have in mind at the forefront of our mind is um, to work to help people clear their records as a result of the New York State's new law, clean slate law. Um, Now, this is one of the projects that we're expecting a student to work with us on. We have an office in the community in Brooklyn that is housed in East New York and right on the border of East New York and Brownsville, which is a community in Brooklyn that is heavily surveilled by the police. It's also a community in Brooklyn that has some of the highest rates of child welfare involvement. Again, another system that surveils families of color. And so in our community office, we have a lot of opportunity to engage with not just our clients, but members of the community. So we often partner with local shelters, local schools, local nonprofits, to bring people in for Know Your Rights trainings, resource fairs, also, we partner with other community organizations to provide resources to community members. So we envision our a fellow, for if we are matched with a fellow, to work with us in our community office to build new relationships with organizations, help us create collaboration with community partners who we've worked with in the past, to help us put together Know Your Rights events. We've seen a dramatic increase in inquiries about Know Your Rights trainings around immigration issues. For obvious reasons, since the new presidential administration. And so we're hoping that this fellow will work with us on some of that to help us increase our capacity to respond to community requests for events and Know Your Rights trainings.
Thank you, Anya. And I can attest that your fellow absolutely enjoyed her fellowship. That's one of the reasons that we asked you all to come back. So, if you all are interested in being exposed to immigration, civil, family, criminal, and policy work, along with networking with community partners, please contact Anya with the Brooklyn Defender Services. All righty. And to legal aid, Kawan and Jennifer.
Good evening, everyone. So why would a community fellow want to come to the Legal Aid Society? It's really just because we are the best. I know I'm biased, but we are. We have been at the forefront of public defense since 1876, really impacting clients throughout New York City with systemic litigation. We also have been at the forefront of reform, suing New York City for the right to have our clients who have been arrested arraigned within 24 hours. So when you consider our impact, our power, and our tenacity, that's really what makes us stand out as an organization and why the fellow would want to come and spend a summer with us. What's also different about us is that we're in all five boroughs in New York City. I believe that makes us unique. It gives a fellow the opportunity for growth and to see the different practices. Going from one borough to the next is like going to a different city. You're going to have different judges, an entirely different veneer, and it's going to expose you to a different way to practice. Our fellowship experience is also centered on an interdisciplinary approach. The fellow will have an opportunity to spend time in a different division. So we're going to have the fellow spend a week in the criminal defense division, a week in the juvenile rights division, working with young people, and a week in the civil division. And they're going to have an opportunity to shadow staff attorneys from each of those practice areas at the start of the fellowship. They're going to use that knowledge and they're going to partner with our Harlem Community Law Office and also with our Community Justice Unit. And they're going to put on a Know Your Rights clinic in Harlem at the end of the summer. So when you think about the opportunity to be exposed to the different divisions and the different boroughs and really the impactful work that we do in the community, that's what I would say makes us unique. I believe that it's important as a Black woman for us to not just meet the individual when they have handcuffs. So we spend a lot of times as an we spend a lot of time as an organization in the community and trying to do that grassroots work. And that's what we want to have the fellow take part in during the summer. So that's a little bit about why I think someone would want to spend the summer with the Legal Aid Society. And that's what makes us unique. And I'm looking forward to answering any questions and welcoming applications for the fellowship.
Thank you, Kawan. Jennifer, did you want to add anything to that?
No, I co-sign everything Kawan
Okay.
said. Um,
All righty. Well, if you guys want to be part of boots on the ground in the New York community, being part of a tenacious litigation and being in various different areas of criminal defense, please contact Kawan Clinton with the Legal Aid Society. And last but certainly not least, I would like to bring it over to Erin with the Connecticut office.
Great, thank you. So I just apologize in advance. I'm pinch hitting tonight for Katie Farrell, who's our chief social worker. The fellow would be reporting into her. What we envision for the fellow for the summer would be working on a statewide project. So it would be traveling to the 17 locations throughout the state of Connecticut, working to develop like a guidebook that we could use to give to our clients and people who are reentering society after a period of incarceration that would contain information for them about housing resources, similar to what Alyssa was saying, food resources, shelters, medical clinics, other community resources that they could use as a guidebook. So this would be working with attorneys throughout the state, heavily working with social workers, and then with community partners to develop this resource.
Thank you, Erin. So if you all are interested in traveling this summer and working with reentry and ensuring that our recently released clients have a successful reentry, please contact Erin or Katie with the Connecticut office. I think that we reached everyone. So I just want to reiterate that this application is for undergraduate and graduate students who have an interest in public defense. We encourage you all to apply. If you all have any questions, please contact me. I will put my information in the chat, or you can contact each of the host sites representatives. Their contact information is in the brochure, which I will share in a follow-up email. Just a few pointers that this is an 8 to 10 week fellowship. In in exchange for your fellowship, you will receive a $4,000 stipend. And if needed, you will also be eligible. You may be eligible for a housing stipend if you choose to relocate during the summer. So there, to apply, you must fill out the application. It's not that long. A few questions. And if you have any questions about the host sites, again, this will be posted on it will be posted in a subsequent email, but we also have a brochure that I will circulate to you all. And the deadline to apply is next Friday, February 28th. So please get your applications in before then. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Is there any questions from the audience?
I have a question.
Yes, Kamora.
Hi, everyone. My name's Shamora Duncan. I attend Voorhees University, and I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I wanted to ask if we do the application through the school, are they going to be the ones submitting it to the different states that we select, or will we have to submit it to you guys directly?
Yes. So when you submit your application, it actually comes to BPDA, and BPDA will disperse all of the applications to the host sites that you have included in your application. So I'll make sure that they get to everyone that you've indicated. And if you do want to change and include some more host sites, then just email me separately and I'll make sure that those applications get to those host sites.
Okay, and you said you'll provide your contact information
Yes.
in the box. Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Do we have any other questions? Seeing none, I just want to thank you all again for your time. There are so many other things that you all could be doing. I appreciate your interest in our Community Engagement Fellowship, and I hope that you all do intend to apply. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me, and I look forward to you all's application. Y'all have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank
You
you.
too.